All right, so we have to find sine of x over 2. So you're going to your formula sheet. X over 2, that's half of an angle. So sine of a over 2, you have a formula that says sine of x over 2 would equal plus or minus the square root of 1 minus the cosine of x all over 2. So the first question, I have to decide if this is going to be a plus or a minus. So we go up to this statement. Now, does that tell me that I'm in quadrant 1? The original angle is, but I have to find out where x over 2 falls. So what would I need to do to this? Divide everything by 2. So I get 0 is less than x over 2 is less than pi over 4. So if you're between 0 and pi over 4, what quadrant are you in? Still in the first. So sine of x over 2, would that be positive or negative? Okay. So then I have 1 minus the cosine of x. We know tangent of x equals 2, so we could draw a triangle. So tangent is opposite over adjacent. So Pythagorean theorem, 1 squared plus 2 squared equals c squared. So our missing side is radical 5. You subtracted them instead of adding them?
That is correct.
Okay.
1.
Because 2 divided by
Tangent would be like 2 over 1. All right, so cosine here, adjacent over hypotenuse, would be 1 over radical 5, or we could say radical 5 over 5. Now we have a fraction and fraction, so to get rid of it, we do what? So we get 5 minus the square root of 5 all over 10. Is that how I left the answer on here? Did that rationalize? Yeah. You could leave it that way. You could also multiply by the square root of 10 on top and bottom and remove it. I would take your answer either way. Questions on that one?
I was doing a lot more simpler than what we tried to make it into.
So let's look at this one. Similar to the problem we just did, except this one involves double angles, and that's what our quiz is over, double angles and half angles. So out of your 5 questions on your quiz, you're probably going to have one like problem 23 that we just worked, and you're probably going to have one like this. They're pretty much the same, except you have to pick different formulas. So I'm asking you to find sine of 2 theta. So you're looking at your formula sheet. Sine 2 theta, what's our formula? Okay. So we have 2. Do I know the sine of theta? No. How am I going to get that?
Pick a triangle.
Draw a triangle. Okay, we have to pick our quadrant. So we know cosine is negative, so that would be either 2 or 3. But sine is positive, so it would be quadrant 2. So a cosine is adjacent, so this would be negative 12, over hypotenuse, which is 13. Then what are we going to do? Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus negative 12 squared equals 13 squared. So you get your missing side to be a positive 5. So sine would be
5.
and cosine would be
12.
so we get negative 120 over 169. And that's our final answer. that one okay? Let's do, the other formulas we had in here were the sum to product and product to sum. So I might say, write sine 9x minus the sine of 3x as a product. Make sure you're looking at your formulas so you can pick these out yourself. Don't just wait for me to write it up here. You guys need to be able to pick them out yourself. So right now, I have two things subtracted. And I'm asking you to write it as a product. What does that mean? Multiplication. So we have to change it from a sum to a product. So every single one of you should have your flip chart out right now. So we're starting with the sum. We want a product, so you're going to sum to product. And which one does this look like?
Sine A minus sine B equals 2. A plus B. So sine A minus B. Yeah, you know.
Okay.
Let's get down to
On
sine.
your quiz, make sure you're writing down the formula you're using. I'll give you a point for picking the right formula, even if you make a mistake from there. So write out the formula you're using. In this, it lines up perfectly. So my A is 9x. My B is 3x. So I'm just going to plug those in. So we get 2 times the cosine of 9x plus 3x over 2 sine 9x minus 3x over 2. 9x plus 3x would be divided by 2. 9x minus 3x divided by 2. And so that would be our final answer. Do you want me to do one where I give you a product and ask you to write it as a sum? You think you got it? Really the only other thing we've done in this is a lot of kind of like our bell work. I give you something and I ask you to rewrite it using a single trig function or to find the value. So if I said like, I want you to find the value of cosine squared 15 degrees minus sine squared 15 degrees. What are you going to do on this? Yeah, you're going backwards. You have to find an identity that looks like that. So which of your identities has cosine squared minus sine squared? Okay, so in this, my A or my theta is 15. So we get the cosine of 2 times 15.
Just cosine 30 degrees.
Since it is one off the circle we know, I would want you to go ahead and evaluate it. If it wasn't from the circle, then you could leave it. Let's do another. Just trying to identify your formulas. If I said what does
Tangent
this?
of A over 2.
Tangent of A over 2. We have a formula that says sine A over 1 plus cosine A equals tangent A over 2. Do I have to do anything special to make this formula line up?
No.
No.
You gotta know what A is.
So my A is
158.2 degrees.
158.2. So this would give me tangent of 158.2. What's it equal?
79.1.
And And can we evaluate that one?
No.
No, so that would be your final
Okay,
answer.
just put it in the calculator.